Nikita had actually messaged Conor McGregor that morning. It wasn't that night, which a lot of people think it was. People think it was after a nightclub or whatever. They've went back to a hotel room together, but that wasn't the case. They were in separate households, separate parties. Conor was with his friend. Nikita was with her friend. They were messaging each other backwards and forwards. Conor then went to pick Nikita and her friend up with his friend at 7 a.m. in the morning, when they'd both been having separate drug-fueled parties. Conor and his friend picked Nikita and her friend up at 7 a.m. in the morning. The two lasses jumped in the back of the car. They were heading towards a hotel and they were sniffing in the back of the car, having the times of their life. They'd been up all night. Conor and his pal had been up all night, so they were heading to a hotel. There was a lot of flirtatious text backwards and forwards between the two couples, and obviously they decided to go back to a hotel room. But if you're going to a hotel at that time in the morning, you've been up all night partying, it's normally to do one thing and one thing only. If you are getting a hotel room with your pal and two lasses, and they are going to a hotel room willingly, being up all night partying, what do you think is going to happen? The footage from inside the hotel room showed they were very flirtatious, necking on with each other, kissing each other in the lift and on the way up to the hotel room, all over each other, randy as dogs on the way to the hotel room. But this is where no one will know, apart from the two parties involved, what actually happened. Because as much as I'm saying they go into the hotel room, this is exactly what couples do, or people do when they've been up all night on the sniff. They go and get in touch with a girl, they go back to a hotel room, they go into that room for one reason only. But obviously, because I'm saying just one reason only, they're going back to have a party, to have a session, and to get off with each other. This is the part, what I'm on about, where it gets a bit tricky, because just because they've been seen necking on with each other, all over each other in the lift, on the way to the hotel room, doesn't mean once they get in there, it is consensual. She might have had a change of mind at the last moment. Conor might have been so randy, he just didn't want to say no, and he continued to do it. But we do not know what happened. It's all speculation. It's only the two people involved knows exactly what happened. That's why when this has come about and the prosecution has had a look through the case, listened to both sides, they've decided there is not enough evidence to go forward with this case, especially when they've reviewed the CCTV footage and they've seen the way they were acting with each other on the way to the hotel room. So obviously, when they see that type of footage, they would say, well, it doesn't look like she's being forced there. So how could they convict a man on something that looks as though everything's consensual and the way that everything has happened? Well, this is what I'm meaning. When they got up to that room, who knows, she might have said, no, I don't want to do this. And then whatever has happened afterwards, but we don't know exactly. But what we do know with the case is that they definitely did have intercourse, because his semen was found inside of her when she was examined. But another part of the case, which some people might have found a bit mind-blowing, was the fact that inside of her, there was a tampon still inside of her, which was wedged after they'd had intercourse. But a lot of people would say, well, there you go, there's your telltale sign. He definitely did do the SA because the tampon was wedged up inside of her. But then, if she's been in such a state and they've been having consensual intercourse, she's been that drunk, she's forgot she actually had it in. That could be another reason why it was wedged so far up. And this is another reason why the case had no criminal charges whatsoever. But obviously when she was examined, she was covered in bruises from head to toe. And the doctor that examined her said some of the bruising was extremely unusual, even for an SA assault. So what Conor McGregor was actually saying was, when they were rolling around the room, she said he got her in a chokehold, and then he said she was that drunk, she swan dived headfirst into a bath which had no water in. Obviously, that's going to sustain some bruising around the body. Obviously, they were off their heads. Anyone who parties up all night till 7 in the morning, full of the sniff, full of drink, is going to be in a bonny old state. And a lot of times, you do not have any recollection of what has actually happened the night before. So this is where I'm talking about the case, where it is tricky. No one knows for certain what has actually happened in that hotel room. He's saying it didn't happen. She's saying it did. Us out here are only saying what's been in the news or in the headlines or in whatever articles you can find online from the court proceedings and obviously from the prosecution. And as usual, everybody is making up their own minds off the headlines that they've seen.